All right, so we're back here once again on Wednesday night here, 8 o'clock in our regular time under the lights here. What's going on, Mal?
What's up, man?
Hey man, nothing much. Hey, this is working, man. Football season now, entrenched, and hey man, we just here locked and loaded. Just continue to keeping up with the work.
Man, they killing me, man, with these late games. Like I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
man. Yeah,
oh man, we have to get it over with. Can I get a
yeah,
blowout?
man. We're in the wrong time zone for sports. I'm telling you,
Right,
man. We was out west, or maybe even if you was in the Midwest, that hour is a difference.
right.
Trust me. When I was out there 2 weeks ago, I think Florida and Utah was playing. That game was over before like 10 o'clock. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I need to relocate to a
Right,
different time zone at least.
right,
But
right.
it's a world of difference, man. I tell you, man. East Coast, man, we be getting the short end of the stick.
I mean, before we talk about the show, I will say this: I am extremely satisfied with sports the last few weeks,
Yeah,
and for October coming around the corner, I'm really intrigued to see what the NBA is going to do with all the things with Colorado. If you even see like in the NFL, some like the NFC East and what is it, the NFC South?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they balling like it's crazy. Like you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And you like those used to be one of the worst divisions that they say, but when you look at it, shout out to the Giants. Like you know what I mean?
yeah.
Damn.
I know, right? And like you say, you just never know. That's the thing about the beauty of an intrigue of it all. Is like one year, I think about like what 2020. None of us was un, none of us was over 500.
Right.
We won by proxy by what being 79 that year. So it's just crazy. Like it was literally a 6-win team could have literally won the NFC East that year. Now fast
Right.
forward to you look at what happened last year with the success of the NFC East, where you had three teams making it in the playoffs. You had two teams battling out in the division round. And yeah, and then obviously we had a NFC champion come out that division last year. And yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, the NFC East, and you look at even like the South last year. That was another one where Tampa
Yeah.
Bay pretty much limped in, but now you're
Right.
looking at the Saints are 2-0, the Falcons are 2-0,
The
the
Bucks.
the Bucks 2-0, and then even Panthers 0-2. But hey, it is what it is,
Man.
and 0-2 in the division. So and yeah, it's gonna be it's a bumpy ride. That's one thing when you're in that fourth spot and it's a small hole to climb out now, but
Right.
as these weeks progress, and man, it's a big hole to climb. I've been down that road last year, and yeah, it's a hole to climb, but
Right.
it's crazy. But
Crazy.
yeah, man. So we got a great show lined up for you tonight. So what we're gonna do, we'll recap week 2 of the NFL season. So we'll just talk about our biggest winners, losers, some teams to look out that are 0-2, some teams that are 2-0. We'll talk about our game to watch. We'll also do our picks and then put a bow on tonight's Couch Coach Live. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a brief time out. We're gonna keep that intro, and we'll be starting that show momentarily. We'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. Man, shout out to the guy, Big Kirko. Hopefully he get a win this week against the LA Chargers. Both teams are 0-2. So hopefully Big Kirko get a victory,
Mm.
especially in LA coming off of back-to-back East Coast trips. So hey, maybe you can get the Chargers and be at least 1-2 by the end of the week, Kirko. So but shout out to Big Kirko. but we're here.
Right.
So yeah, so we are here. So we gotta talk about this. Yeah, we
I
ain't,
was
man.
like, I was like, what is he talking to? And I thought about it, I
Yeah, it's Kirk Cousins. Yeah,
said,
yeah. That's Big Kirko. Yeah, that's Big Kirko
hopefully
for
Big
sure.
Kirko, you can get, yeah, okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's hey, that's his name, man.
I
And
know.
he pretty much got that essentially that the game against Washington. He goes on the plane with all those chains coming home, and hey, have some fun on my expense. Why not? Why don't you? So so we have about week 2 of the National Football League. So we definitely got to get into it. So first off, which team had the biggest win going into which team had the biggest win in week 2 in your personal opinion?
Well, I looked at it and I was like, I went through each one. There's a bunch, but I didn't want to be biased, and I felt like the Steeler game was, so I put two. So my first one, I'm gonna say the Giants versus the Cardinals. I think we always kind of figured out the Giants was better than what they were. They just went up against the Cowboys. Cowboys have a great defense. Daniel Jones he was 26 for 37, 321 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Barkley had 63 yards. Daniel Jones had 59 rushing yards, and I don't understand that. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm thinking Barkley should get at least 100 yards easy. I just don't understand how the quarterback. I don't know. I guess that's just the way the league is going. Because the more we go through this, you're gonna see like that's why I don't see a dominance. I guess you could say because it seems like the quarterbacks are running too much. Maybe you know what I'm saying. But especially when you got a dog like Barkley. But anyway, um, I said the Giants and winning over the Cardinals. But I really think the game of the week is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. I felt like it was an AFC North team game. I also feel like it was very physical. Like I tell, this is a September game. They're going to have to play them again, and so it gets so physical that players get hurt. And then once players get hurt, a lot of times the season changes. So I hate to say with Chubb getting hurt, I think the Browns is looking a little different. Even a lot of players on the defense got hurt. You know what I mean? So it's looking a little, even on their face. Even Mouse Garrett, he got had some little bit issues with I think with his ankle. But you kind of see on his face like, man, damn, this is going to be another struggling season when we finally got a quarterback that we're paid all this money to. Which not even gonna say that we still got a quarterback that everybody's saying should be a great or at least a good quarterback. And then I think the defense got so physical. Defense on both teams was so physical that both quarterbacks didn't really do well. Their numbers are actually a lot. They look almost identical. But all it takes is 1 or 2 plays. Welcome to the AFC North. You know what I mean? All it takes is 1 or 2 plays, and then you can win the game. And make sure your field goal kicker is kicking the field goal. That is the AFC North style football. So I'm picking and I think that defense looks so dominant. And then with Highsmith interception and knocking the ball out with TJ, they had middle linebackers, and I'm happy. Peterson, the corner, he seemed like he got a little humble. You know what I mean? It got to the point, man, like Watson didn't know where to throw the ball to. So like Cooper, Amari Cooper was hurt. So they just had him every once in a while in the game. They had to literally really put him in the game, and then he started just trying to go to him because it's Amari Cooper. He's one of those great wide receivers that most likely if the ball touches hands, he gonna catch it. But man, it gave us what we wanted. I just want to say I really think that's the game. I think that was
Yeah.
the game.
And before we get started, I definitely forgot to did this in the beginning, but this week's Couch Coach Live is powered by the good folks at SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com, use the promo code CouchCoach to get yourself $20 off at checkout when you first sign up with SeatGeek. So definitely a lot of games coming up this week and what have you. So definitely, we got you hooked up. Just use that promo code CouchCoach at SeatGeek. We got you situated. Any game you got going on this weekend, going down the line, we got you. Just put in that Couch Coach promo code. And so let's bring in JB in the frame.
Okay.
All right.
What's
What's going on,
up?
JB?
What's up?
What's going
Not
on?
much.
What's going
The
on?
Giants suck. The Giants suck. The Giants suck.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
JB, what's in week 2? Who was your biggest which team had the biggest win in week 2?
Ooh, I would say probably the Steelers because the Steelers you can't start off 0-2. You can't start off 0-2, and I thought the Steelers that game could have easily have gotten away from the Steelers from the standpoint that Nick Chubb getting hurt had an emotional effect not only on the Browns, but I think it had an emotional effect on the Steelers. When a guy suffers like a real bad injury like that, that the game can easily get away from you if the guy's on your team or if the guy's on the other team as well too. So, TJ Watt, man, TJ Watt is making a case to be defensive player of the year already. I think it's going to be a good race between him, Bosa, and Parsons, and also Myles Garrett. You know, but I thought they had the biggest. I thought they had the biggest win of the week. The game of the week, man. I think Giants Cardinals was a good one, and also your Commanders winning. Your Commanders winning that game, man. Like y'all almost blew it. I know when I was watching the game here, and when I saw the Hail Mary, I was like, man, they're trying to get my man CP a heart attack. I was like, Dion, what did Dion always say on when he was doing on NFL Network? You knock it down, you don't pop it up in the air, man. You know?
Yeah. Oh man, that was I'm just very thankful for my neighbors for that outburst on Sunday afternoon that nobody knocked on my door and get in trouble. So I thank my neighbors for that. So, but yeah, that was a crazy one. But I think the team who the biggest win has got to be the Giants. I think considering the fact that they were down 20-0 at halftime.
That's right.
Considering the fact that they are pretty much on a West Coast trip. So obviously tomorrow they'll play the 49ers, and this one's where they were really facing potentially being 0-3 in this division, where you have 3 of your NFC's brethren are undefeated, and that's one thing where you think that maybe not all 3 of us will be 3-0, but somebody's gonna be 3-0 in this division, and that's a really uphill climb when you're 0-3, and you got a team in your division that's 0-3. So that was a season. I wouldn't say a season saving. I know I exercised a little bit in hyperbole, but I think it was a big win to kind of pretty much save that season at this point of the season, especially when you got Dallas, Washington, and Philly at 2-0. So big time win for them, and to come back, and that's crazy because all of us played at 4:00, and it's like you're seeing it. Oh man, are they losing? Like get out of here! Then in the midst of all our games, and you see the comeback. Now, okay, they pulled it out, but yeah, that's that and that. A low key like what Buffalo did. I think them getting themselves kind of back into a groove. Even I know people might say, they beat the Raiders, but hey, you think to yourself, they won 38-10. Josh Allen had a great game. He pretty much distributed the ball to, Dalton Kincaid, then the other tight end, Dawson, and then also got Gabe Davis involved. So they, pretty much, especially after that Monday Night Football loss. So I definitely think that's something to kind of help their confidence in a sense. But yeah. So we thought we'd go from the good of the wins. Who had the biggest loss this week? I'm gonna start with you first, JB. What you got?
Oof, biggest loss this week. I think that there are 2 teams that you could say had the biggest loss. I think Denver, man. I think that's a disheartening loss, man. You start off 0-2, and not only are you 0-2, but you lose your first 2 games at home, and you were up 21-3 against Washington, and you kind of lost control of the game the last 2 minutes of the first half. So I thought that was a disheartening loss for the Broncos. And the other team, the Bengals, man. The Bengals started off 0-2, and if you would have told me beginning of the year they were going to start off 0-2, I would have said it's a possibility. But you look at who they lost to. You lost 2 divisional games. You lost against Cleveland, and you lost against Baltimore. You're going to have the 8 ball already this year. I know they started off 0-2 last year, but it was a bit different last year because one of the games they lost last year was against Dallas. You losing a game against a team in another conference, I mean, it sucks, but it really doesn't really hurt you when it comes to playoff positioning.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you think you losing essentially it's 6 divisional games. You've already lost a third of them already.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know.
it's tough. Yeah.
I mean, I think the best thing they can hope for, the best thing you can hope for is that so they lost to Cleveland and they lost to Cleveland and they lost to Baltimore. You're in a situation now where you have to sweep Pittsburgh, essentially.
Yeah. To
Because
even be
I think the best thing they can hope for is 3-3 in the division now.
yeah.
Right.
Which that's almost like running the table at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. That's a tall
I mean,
task.
essentially, yeah.
Quick question. I hadn't really watched him much. Do you think I know? Do you think Burrows got paid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that might be affecting now that he got his papers?
Uh, I don't. So I think I think a lot of people have been making a big deal about the first week of the season because quarterback play hasn't really been good this year. There hasn't been like outstanding quarterback play. I think
Right.
week one was kind of a wash because the weather was so bad, man. I think, and I still say this, I think the 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 biggest thing that can wreck a game plan in the NFL is bad weather,
Okay.
especially pouring down rain. So I think
Right.
week one, and also they just don't match up well with the Browns. The Browns just wrecked their
Right.
offensive line.
Browns Griffin.
And I just think also the second game, I think you're seeing that another issue you're seeing with a lot of these teams with veteran quarterbacks are not playing their veterans in preseason. And so these
Right.
offenses look out of sync.
Right.
They're out of sync the first 2, 3, 4 games of the season. So I think it's a combination of the first week, they just, it's a bad matchup. And then the second game, I think Burrow hurt. I think that hip that he has is worse than he's letting on, and I
Right.
just think that they're rusty. I don't
Yeah.
think it has anything to do with them getting paid, and I just think it's unfortunate too. Looking at Cincinnati and the Eagles actually had, I think, the biggest cheat code in the NFL. They had a really good quarterback on a cheap deal. So when you have that, you have to build your team well. And Cincinnati, unfortunately, was not able to build an offensive line. Their offensive line is still a weakness.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in that division with the Steelers, with the Ravens, and with the Browns, that's not a good division for you to have a bad offensive line.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think too, like you said, and it's less preseason time because we used to have
Yeah.
4 weeks.
Right.
Now it's
That's
more
just three.
condensed.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, even him having the injury in the preseason, I think that's starting to kind of come
Right.
into fray. And then I think defenses are now, you're looking at what they're doing to Jamar Chase, and they're like balling him up. So it's like one of
Right.
those things where, and it's just like you said, it's the beginning. Like it's still. It literally is almost like you really got to wait this out for like the first month. The first month is like essentially it's like preseason in a sense, especially like you said, the lack of
Right.
starters not
September.
playing.
Right.
Yeah, because most of these guys who are playing in the preseason are either on the practice squad or not even even on this roster. They're playing significant amount of time, so
Right.
it's a lot. Yeah. So who's your biggest loss this week, Mallory? What you got?
I got two also. I got Browns and the Broncos. Um, the Browns, to me, I'm only going to talk about Watson. It just seemed after Chubb got hurt, it seemed to me, it seemed like Watson got a little shaky towards the end. He seemed like he was losing his cool. I knew when he threw that ball though, to the wall, I was like, oh, he being disrespectful. I was like, I don't think you should have done that. You know what I mean? And it got a little ugly towards the end, didn't it? You know what I mean? But he
Well,
still seemed like he was extremely uncomfortable, man. Where even him, like when he scrambled, he didn't even look fast. Really, am I tripping? If there, some people saying he losing, he doesn't seem like he might have lost a step. I don't want to say that, you know what I mean? But he just looked shaky. He looked, but like I said, like JB said, I didn't even think about that. Everybody, especially the Browns, they looked extremely emotionally kind of distraught about Chubb once Chubb got hurt. It just seemed like even Miles Garrett, and then everybody just seemed like they just started getting hurt. Like every player is another player on the ground hurt. It was just always was something with the Browns. But I'm definitely going to say the Broncos. Um, I think Peyton and Russell Wilson, it ain't really looking too good. The Broncos looking like they did last year. I don't know. I don't know if the experiment with Russell leaving Seattle. I'm just gonna say it. Do y'all feel like he did well because of the coach when he
I
played
mean,
for the
Um,
Seahawks.
he kind of regressed even in Seattle. I mean, you think
yeah,
about
he
it,
did.
it's
Right.
kind of like, I mean, he regressed even in the days. Because I mean, we talk about like 2020, where the first half he looked like an MVP. They did in the second
And spot
half of
right
the
up.
season he tailed off, and it's almost eerily similar to 2021 season. Well, no, that was the year he injured his finger.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah,
Because all these years run together now, Lord. All these
No,
years run
but I
together at this
remember
point.
that y'all pointed
But
out
yeah,
on the show was that they would be doing the Seahawks would do so well in the beginning of the season, then November, like October, November hit, and it just seemed like they would just go downhill. And it's like I don't know, like seeing Geno Smith do so well, I said, well, maybe their coach is actually pretty special. Maybe he know how to bring the best of the situation. And it just seemed like they gave everything to Russell Wilson, and it just seemed like he probably just sold him on some BS because it just, I mean, he got his numbers. Don't get me wrong. He was 18 for 32. He was 308, three TDs, one interception, and he got 56 yards rushing, and all the rest of the running backs combined got less than him. Like, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
crazy.
yeah. I think with Russ, man, I think that it's just when he was with Seattle, he took a lot of sacks. I think there was like a 4 year period where he took
Right.
like close to like 230 sacks, and I just
Mm-hmm.
think that has taken a toll on him. What I see is I see a guy that's just he doesn't have that athleticism anymore. I think a lot of his game was built on athleticism, and since
running.
starting with the second half of 2020, he's looked like a below average quarterback. He has.
Mm.
And I mean, it's not changing. I think that the experiment is over with. I think people gave Nathaniel Hackett a really hard time last year. And look, I think Hackett was in over his head. But I think a lot of the issues with Denver last year deals with Russ. Russ is just not seeing the field well. He's not seeing the field well. He's taking like even they were in the red zone, they were down 35-24. Like you can't take that sack there. You have to throw the ball away. You throw the ball through the end zone. You live to fight another day. And it's just like he's making a lot of mistakes that you see young quarterbacks make. You don't see veteran quarterbacks make. And this is going back to like this is the third year he's been doing this. He's been making a lot of bad mistakes that a veteran quarterback, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, an MVP candidate. These are mistakes that you're not supposed to be making. And he's been making them consistently.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, in the age now, because he might be 35 in November, so it's
Yeah.
just one of those where it's just the father time is catching up with him, and yeah, like you said, I think there was a lot of stuff in that game, especially like the careless, and I think I think Russell definitely that fumble recovery, which you can't like that. You should know that you are in bounds and you fumble that football, and it's almost like it was like what the hell was you thinking? Just let the ball, let pretty much not having control of the ball in that predicament that led to that fumble recovery, which kind of help us help the run in the beginning because obviously at that time they were up, and I think that's another thing too where he does the stuff that's careless, and it's funny. It's like don't want to go back 8 years ago, but you think about the situation in the Super Bowl, so it's like one of those when you look at where it's just and it didn't even the Sean Payton thing. I know he made a comment about, well, we'll go back to the wristband. So now I'm like, so that lets me know, like you said, that's not the proof of what JB saying. This experiment is done because part of me, like you saying stuff like this out public, and I'm like, come on, man, like, and we know, like this time last year, that was one of the discussions. I know Pete Carroll was talking about the wristband about it last year. Now, fast forward, now you're looking at what Sean Payton is doing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, now, like you said, you got maybe two potentially failed relationships. Who's the common denominator? Russell Wilson. So,
Right.
and then even the whole thing of him saying, well, I don't want him to kiss babies. I want, essentially, pretty much, this whole persona about him. But I'm like, he had this persona from the jump. So it's like, why are you going to change somebody who's had this persona for years? So that lets me know that those are the tea leaves that we get that I think people fail to realize, like, those stuff you don't say, especially somebody who's been like that pretty much for the majority of his career,
Right.
So you saying stuff like that, this ain't gonna work.
Right.
But
Yeah, those are my two games though.
Yeah, I think mine. I think it's got to be the obvious. I think the Cleveland Browns. I think especially
Yeah.
considering the fact they were in the driver's seat of this win, like especially
Right.
considering the fact that this team would have been 2-0 in the season, and then obviously you look at you losing Nick Chubb
Mm-hmm.
with this with a season-ending injury, and it's like one of those where you root for a guy like him. Obviously, he had that horrific knee injury at Georgia years ago, about 2015 or so, whatever. But you look at that, and then But then, like I said, Cleveland was in the driver's seat for this victory. Obviously, T.J. Watt get that fumble recovery and score, and pretty much put you guys up to win this football game. But yeah, I definitely think that's one thing where your season can go from one. This is how your season intersects. It can go left or go right,
Right.
and this is where I think you look at it early on. And
Right.
this is kind of one of those things where you might look at this maybe at the quarter mark of the season, or maybe even at the midseason, and look at this loss and be like, "Babe, this might have been the start of something bad," for
Right.
this Cleveland Browns thing. So we always look at Cleveland Browns team as something always bound to happen for them. I mean, in a negative way.
Right.
So it almost feel like it's not doom and gloom, but it kind of was like, okay, where we headed, because this is a game that we could have had, but
Right.
we kind of let this kind of slip away from us. And these type of games, like you said, like we talked about the AFC North, these are games, you'll be thinking yourself like, damn, we should have won in September, when it comes down, in the nitty-gritty, like, oh, I could have had this win, so I look at it from the standpoint. It's just week 2. I know but
And
that's
that
how I
was a
feel week
physical
2.
game, bro. Like I
It really
was so
was.
like when I was watching, I felt like I was in. I was like, man, this is really physical, bro. like that was, and then like it seemed like just everybody was just getting hurt and hurt. Mick Fitzpatrick got hurt. I was like, man, you just know the importance of that game too. Like, hey, coach, you still think the Browns gonna win the division?
I think so. I mean, I think they still got some legitimate shot. I mean, because they can bring in Kareem Hunt. So I mean, it ain't over.
Right.
And I think the thing with Deshaun Watson, all that people saying, oh, like your boy Shady, y'all need a refund. He's regressed. He's definitely has regressed. He's definitely not the 2020 Deshaun Watson that we know. But it is what it is. I mean, I think a legitimate shot. I mean, it's early.
I mean,
it's early.
They do got a shot. I see.
It's
your
early.
boy JB, get your boy.
It's early.
Yeah. I picked the Browns to win the division too. Their defense is going to keep them in games. If Deshaun, as long as Deshaun was really bad on Monday night. If Deshaun is not a complete, if he's not a complete disaster, I still like them in this division because I'm sorry, man. I'm not sold on the Ravens. I'm not sold on the Ravens yet. So
okay, but like I was telling, I know we got to move on, Coach, but I was talking to another podcast my brother was on, and he was talking about Kenny Pickett, and I was like, I hate when all balls down. This is the AFC North. You can sit there and think about quarterbacks in the AFC North. It's not like a bunch of big, great quarterbacks has been in that damn division. You know what I'm saying? Especially won Super Bowls. I mean, Trent Dilfer. You know what I mean? I was like Joe Flacco. Like he was damn near successful for the Ravens, and he's not in your top 10 greatest, quarterbacks. Even then, like you know what I mean. So I was like, as long as you can manage the game. And you're good as long as you can manage the game. And like I said, if you could just pull a couple of plays out with that physical game, then you can mess around and win.
Okay, yeah, no, I know, and I'm higher on Pittsburgh. I think people overreacted with Pittsburgh losing the first game of the season. I think the 49ers were not a good matchup for the Steelers, so I don't think that's indicative of how the Steelers season is going to go. So
and San Francisco was
And I picked the Steelers to win this game too, actually, in my pick'em league. So I picked the Steelers to win this game, actually. So against the Browns. So
Fireman Kansas. Go ahead though.
And San Francisco it's a Super Bowl contending team. So I mean, you think about it. You think to yourself, they could have been a Sam Darnold or a Brock Purdy away from going to Super Bowl. I mean, it wouldn't have been fair, legal, fail. So
Right.
It is what it is. But so let's see. So, and this is I always do this stuff, like especially every year, especially at it, going to week 3. All right, so which 0-2 team? I say it's a contender, but in a sense, which 0-2 team that you have faith in, as far as So, who you guys got? I'm gonna go with you first, JB. What you got?
Um, so this comes down to this came down to a few teams for me. So I mean, like, um, I'm gonna go with Carolina. I'm joking, not the Carolina Panthers. Their offensive line is
Whoa,
garbage, but
whoa,
I'm joking. I'm not gonna say that.
whoa.
You should have me drug tested if I say that. But
For real.
I think for me, it comes down to either the Chargers or the Bengals. Um, I- I'm gonna lean the Bengals because the Bengals have been in this situation before where they've been 0-2 and they've gotten out of it, and they seem to be a team. They tend to get off the slow starts, but they tend to get their act together in
Okay.
in October. When you know the second, you want to be playing your best football the second half of the year. So the Bengals have done this. The Chargers have Herbert, and the thing that's really funky about the Chargers, they have not turned the ball over this year. They basically
Right.
have done everything. You're, I just think that I think the Chargers are just a poorly coached team, man. Like I think that they should have. And I hate to say this, man, because I don't like for people to lose their job, but like they should have fired Staley last year after they had the meltdown in Jacksonville, and they should have brought in a new coach. Like I just feel like Herbert. Why didn't you try to go out and get Sean Payton? Why not put Sean Payton and Herbert together?
I'm sure
But yeah,
Sean
those are
Payton's
my
saying that.
yeah, those are my two teams that I have the most faith in, and the reason why is because I think that they have two of the better quarterbacks, the Chargers and the Bengals. And if I had to pick one of the two, I would go with the Bengals.
I said, I bet you
Okay.
Sean Payton agrees with you, John JB.
Oh, Sean.
Absolutely.
I think had the Chargers, I think had it been come down to the Chargers and the Broncos, I think that Sean Payton probably would have. He would have been like, "I'm going to LA, baby. Like,
Right.
Right. Right.
I'm going to
Right.
LA."
I don't
So
need them Sierra problems.
yeah.
All right. I got two teams too. I got the Chargers also. Um, and I put the Vikings. I think they just need to figure it out. I think they're gonna regress though. I think they are gonna regress, but I think that I think they're better than what they are.
Oh yeah, no, they are. They are they. That was a tough game because like to me they should have beat Philly, man. But you can't fumble the ball 4 times. They had 4 turnovers. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know, um, and Cousins he got flack. Cousins played very well last Thursday night. When you look at the fact that the Eagles were wrecking his offensive line the whole night, and he was still able to make these big plays. I mean, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Vikings are up there too. The Vikings have a lot of they have a lot of talent on that team, but I had them taking a step back this year anyway. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, you see.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I it's got like I matched between the Chargers and the Bengals. I only say the Bengals because the Bengals are my Super Bowl pick, so it's like
Right.
I need that to come through at some point.
Right.
But like you said, the Chargers. I swear to you, being a Commanders Cowboys fan, we think we're crazy, but just imagine being a Chargers fan. It's weird. Like you said, 0 turnovers. They have scored 58 points and have lost back a bad score of 5 points in them two losses.
yeah.
Now, do you remember when the Chargers led the NFL in offense? They had the top offense and the top defense. It didn't make the playoffs. It's so weird. Like what happens with the Chargers? Like you think to yourself, this team, like they have 0 turnovers and they've lost 2 games in a row. And it's odd. And it's one of those where, and then like you said, I think they should have got rid of Staley. Because you think about it, I think in the presser, I think it was last week, not last week, but week 1 after they lost to the Dolphins. Somebody asked him about it's a carryover from the Jacksonville game, and you can tell like that bothered him. So it's like kind of one of those things where I think even though he say with a brave face like, "Oh, it doesn't affect us," but him answering that question made me realize he's still a little, still thinking about it, still on his mind. And like you said, that would open the door for Sean Payton, and that would have been, I think, the next generation of the Saints, in the sense where I think he would have kind of made the Chargers more. And they're still a good team, but he would have made them a little bit more relevant, especially when you got a Patrick Mahomes in that division. You needed somebody like you. That would have been the right quarterback coach duo, in my personal opinion. But but your boy Kellen Moore. I mean, hey, your boy Kellen Moore. He doing his thing with Justin Herbert, so I can't even be mad at him.
But is he really though? I don't see. I don't see I don't see a difference in the office. Like I thought, like the whole point of them getting Kellen Moore was like they were going to throw the ball down the field more.
Yeah.
They're still being very conservative. They're not pushing the ball down the field. It's just weird, man. Like they're just a weird team.
And then with Eckler being out, and that's like it's weird. Like and that's why it's like with us. Okay, we can kind of diagnose our problems in somewhat of like a holistic way, but with the Chargers, like you can never like scratch the surface. Like what the hell is really going on with this? This is beyond football to me.
Right.
Because you've done you're doing things that most teams can win football games, and so it's just bizarre how all this is happening. And then, like you said, it's gonna be really interesting when they play, the 0-2 Minnesota Vikings this week, and like you said, who's gonna get off that snide?
Oh yeah, and I think it just CP Maui. I just think it comes down to this, man. I just think that they're a poorly coached football team. When you keep on losing these close games come down to coaching, play calling, and just everything. And I just think that when you keep on blowing big leads and you keep on losing close games, I think it comes down to coaching, man. I really do. I really do. And I think also this. I think I've always been a believer that if you're a football team, you only fire your coach when what your coach is known for, if it's become a weakness on the team. Staley's supposed to be this defensive mastermind. He's not. Their defense is nothing to write home about. Like, I mean, I don't see any improvement. Like JC Jackson went there. He's horrible. Bill Belichick was using him in a good way. Like, he's horrible with the Chargers. Like, they're a very frustrating team to watch. They should be 2-0 at worst, 1-1, not 0-2.
And then you know what's funny about all that?
What?
So remember, the previous coach was eerily similar, where he couldn't execute and get games. They got rid of Anthony Lynn, offensive centric coach at the time, and then they bring him with the golden boy, Sean McVay's former defensive coordinator. So I find it's all very peculiar. I find it very peculiar because if they were winning some game, with Steelers first year, I know when they played us the first game of the season and they pulled out a victory like that, and I figured that was going to be somewhat of the change. But like you said, even going now back to the playoff game where they pretty much had that game in the bag, we thought this was over for Jacksonville. And then, you lose that, and then, now you start 0-2. Yeah, it's going to be, Chargers are it's strange. It's it's crazy. I mean, they went from they couldn't even sell out a soccer stadium once upon a time. It's wild. Man. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild out here. So let's talk about next one. We're gonna talk about which 2-0 team is a pretender. Who you got, JB?
Well, I think that you have to look at the NFC South, man. Like, I'm gonna say this. Hate to say this. My favorite basketball team resides here. I think the Saints are pretenders, man. Like, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, man, about the Saints. Their offense just does not look good, man. They don't score enough points. I think that. So here's my thing. I think that when you look at it from a roster standpoint, the division should be the Saints easily. I didn't go with the Saints. I don't know who you fellas picked to win the division. I actually picked I picked the Falcons to win the division, actually. I just think that they have a really they have a really like crazy team to prepare for. I know Ritter's not the best quarterback in the world, but like just the way that they run the football, they have two really good backs. They found a way. Who's the guy? The returner, the guy that was well known for returning. They use him too.
Oh, Cordell Patterson.
Cordell Patterson. They're just, dude. I think that they're just like a really funky team to match up with, and I
Yeah.
like them to actually win the division. But it's just something's off about the Saints. I know people. I've always told people this about Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr, he's a 2020 quarterback, man. He can move the ball from the 20 to the 20, but there are just too many times where I've just seen over the years where he gets into the red zone, he can't score touchdowns. He's been a very bad quarterback in the red zone. I think they're only two of the 10 years he's been in the league has this team finished top 12 in red zone efficiency. I think the Saints are probably going to start losing a bunch of close games. I also kind of have some apprehensions about the Bucks, but I think the Bucks have a decent defense, and they still have some good weapons with Evans and with the other guy. I can't think of his name. Godwin. Yeah, with Godwin, they have a decent tight end too. So I think a lot of people were saying, the Bucks 3-14, 4-13. I never bought that. I thought the Bucks at worst were going to be about like a 7-10 team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I don't believe in the Saints, man. I don't believe in them at all, man. I think that they're fraudulent.
Actually, I had the Saints winning the division, but yeah, I'll think that more there. What you got?
Whatever. I was trying to get views, so I said the Panthers. Don't judge me, JB.
Oh no, I had to, dude. Before preseason, before I saw preseason, I was like, I think the Panthers going this division. I saw the offensive line. I was like, man, they go get that man killed, man. They go get.
But you quiet as kept. You can't knock down. I just looked at the Falcons. Then when I was looking at stuff, excuse me, they was throwing in like certain things they was putting on defense, like it was Bud Dupree and it was I think a lineman that they picked up. They was doing all these stuff, and I was like, man, they're gonna be quiet as kept. They're gonna be dangerous. You know what I mean? So I said /Panthers /Falcons. I said it could easily be the Falcons, but I agree with everything that you said. I did pick two teams, and they all in the NFC South. I said definitely said the Saints. I just feel like I looked at they almost lost to the Panthers, and there's nothing really positive you can say about the Panthers much. And I'm like, the Saints should be better. They should have beat them like they should be like 30-17 or 35-17. They got so many weapons. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense, but I think you just proved why, and it's most might be just Derek Carr, but they've always had these quarterback issues. Anyway, I said the Saints. You know what I mean? But I also said the Bucks. Also, I said the Bucks because I feel like they do have the weapons, but I feel like they still building chemistry with Baker Mayfield, and I do think Baker's going to be successful there. But I just don't want. I want him to stay humble and keep pushing that way, but that can easily change. Like he seemed like he could be a ticking time bomb, maybe. You know what I mean? And then have like, these 2 games was this, and then the next 3 games it could be horrible. You know what I mean? So
I think Baker plays better when he has a chip on his shoulder. I think that like the last 2+ years have definitely humbled him, actually, and I just think that he plays better when he's actually angry. So
Miles, I think when you look at the Saints, I looked at it because I looked from the standpoint of Derek Carr. I think is the best quarterback in this division. So I was like, I almost kind of reminded me of how the NFC South was last year, where the best quarterback essentially won this division. So a part of me, and I know it's early, but a part of me is the Falcons at this point. I mean, I very impressive win over Carolina last week. I mean, week 1, and then obviously the comeback win against Green Bay this week. The only thing before I kind of say they're a pretend, I really want to see what these these next 2 weeks will be for them. Obviously, they go to Detroit and then they go to Jacksonville. So I think it's going to be a clear indication within the next 2 weeks is this team not a contender in the sense, but more so, hey, can they hang in? And from that standpoint, but and Atlanta's really dynamic as well too. Where you look at Desmond Ridder, I think, like you say, he's average at best quarterback. You got BJ Robinson there, Cordell Patterson. Obviously Pitts.
Algier is good too.
Algier,
Algier is
balling.
good too. Yeah.
Yep. Because he definitely in that, especially in that opening game, he was a monster in that opening game. And then Drake, Doug Garrett called him Drake made their wide receiver, the one from USC, I forgot his damn, I lost my train of thought. The wide receiver for Atlanta, the one with the USC, Drake London.
They're
Yeah,
drawing Drake London, and then they
Yeah,
have they have the monster tight end who they really haven't seemed to
Cal
be able to
Pitts.
use over Cal Pitts. Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
like they have some
yeah,
weapons, man.
yeah,
I think they're just a really funky team to match up with. I think that like when you look at the upper echelon teams in the league, like I think the 49ers would definitely destroy them. I think that they have like a lot of tools in the toolbox, but I think that if you're an
yeah,
average team or if you're a young team, they're a team that can really cause you some problems
yeah.
actually. So
Hence Green Bay and
yeah,
Carolina for sure.
Gre-
Yeah,
Green Bay should have and Green Bay should have won that game too. But like
yeah, yeah.
it happens.
Happens, yeah. Any given that's why any given Sunday is at best for sure. So we turn the page from the week that was to the week that is going to happen. So, fellas, let's just go around the horn. What is the game to watch this weekend? Essentially, what's the game to watch this weekend? Could be college, NFL. What you got? I'm gonna go with you first, JB. What you got?
Oh, so for college, one of the games I'm looking at that Oregon Colorado game. I think that this is going to be a really, really, really interesting game right there. So for college, I would say that, and for the NFL, I'm really looking at the Monday night. Is this a new thing? Because I thought that it was just like they did it one of the first 2 weeks of the year, the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. It
I
looks like they're
think
doing it back to back weeks.
Yeah, and I think it's it for it because I don't know because I know even Laura Rutledge is one of them was saying, "Will we do this five more times?" So I'm thinking it's going to be somewhat in the back end. I know they're going to have a game that week 18, so I'm thinking I don't know because at first it used to just be that one week, and now it's back to back weeks. But I don't. Yeah, that's very interesting. They have these Monday night doubleheaders. But I think it's only going to be for this, this week for what I see from the foreseeable future for the schedule wise. I know obviously one this Monday, then this Monday coming up. So yeah, but who you got, Maui? Who's your game to watch this week?
What game did you pick, JB?
Oh yeah, yeah. So my other game, so the two games I'm looking at, one college game is the Colorado Oregon game. Other game I'm looking forward to, I'm looking at, I think that Philly Tampa game in Tampa ought to be interesting too. It's gonna be interesting to see the weather because a lot of teams that come from the north that go down to Florida, they have a lot of problems in September actually. Like I remember New England, they don't have a very good record going down to Miami because of the humidity. So I'm really looking forward to that Eagles Tampa game. I think the mass majority are going to pick the Eagles, but I think that game could be very close actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick definitely the Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely a Colorado and Oregon game, but I'm gonna pick the Bills versus the Commanders. I think I'm very intrigued in that game. The Commanders 2-0, of course. See if they can. I think if they was to beat the Bills, I think people are really gonna start talking about the Commanders and say, "Hey, man, this team might be something to really be talking about." You know what I mean? They're not a pretender; they're a contender. You know what I mean? Like the Bills look like they're regressing. I think it's some of the stuff I've been saying. Do you feel like maybe Josh Allen starting to do too much or something like that? He seemed like he's out of sync or something. It just seemed like.
But I mean, like I'm talking about.
That's been his problem his whole career, though, Maui. I mean, I think that. Yeah. I mean, you look at like I think that the poster boy of like just bad decision making has been Jameis Winston. I mean, you look at Jameis Winston culminating that 30 touchdown, 30 interception season. But I mean, when you look at Josh Allen from 2021 until the first game of 2023. I mean, he's had like something like 60 turnover-worthy plays according to PFF. I mean, he constantly puts the ball in harm's way, and The tragedy of that Monday night game, with Favre getting hurt, was just that Josh Allen. If Josh Allen had played like Dak Prescott did on Sunday, just like taking stuff underneath, just
Right.
protecting the football, the Bills win that game easily. But it's like he couldn't control himself. He was constantly putting the ball in double and triple coverage, and it's like all quarterbacks have done that. I mean, I've seen games where Big Ben has had multiple turnover games. I've seen Peyton Manning do it, and I've seen
Right.
Brady do it. But the difference between those guys and what Josh Allen did, they would make the mistake maybe one or two times, but then the third time they're like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to like
Right.
let this game get out of hand. But it's like Josh Allen he can't help himself sometimes. And if you look at the Manning cast, Peyton Manning was really disappointed in him. Peyton Manning had talked about how he had talked to Josh Allen in the offseason and how Josh Allen had said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And like he threw the first interception, and Peyton Manning was like, he lied to me. Peyton Manning looked legitimately upset,
Yeah, and that's the thing where you look at what Josh Allen like I talked about in the beginning. He had a great game last week, but he has those moments where he looks good one week and then he looks terrible the next. And like you said, that's where I look at it from that standpoint of like that Monday night game. It was 4 turnovers, obviously 3 interceptions, and then the fumble. And like you said, that would have been the game that they should have easily won, considering the fact that what happened with Aaron Rodgers. That took the air out that stadium. So that would have been a great opportunity for the kind of to build the momentum. But Josh Allen, but that's what with Josh Allen, and people, it's funny, people will say like, oh well, Dak Prescott throws all these interceptions, but I'm like, Josh Allen, hold my beer. Like, but that just shows you kind of like how that perception is, where it's like people fail to realize that Josh Allen is the worst. Like when it comes to turnovers, like you said, especially and you look at like a Jets who have an optimistic this optimistic defense, and they pulled it off, and that's one thing too where it's really gonna be interesting against this Commanders defense of what it can do, what can Washington essentially can like Emmanuel Forbes, a guy like him, can he step up and get some plays? Cam Curl. That's for tomorrow. That's for Commanders in the chat. But now, I'll be here for 2 hours for that one. But yeah,
but it seemed like everybody's not talking positive about the Bills. So I would say they're going up against a team that got a new energy. They pumped up. They 2-0, and it's at home too, right?
Yeah.
Sold out, right?
Sold out.
So for Josh Allen, all the criticism, losing to the Jets. And I mean, he did good against the Raiders, and no disrespect, but and this team is 2-0. And they go in there and he looks stinky and he looks hard. I mean, let's just say he does a great game, but they still lose. And but it's this only September though. You know what I mean? But still, that division, I think that's a division they need to win some games.
For sure. And they got Miami the following week. So they gotta pick themselves up for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Josh Allen, I just think it's the media drive, and we know it. We know this about like in like the actual news, not just sport news. The media just they drive these opinions, and people buy into them. Like the whole idea that Prescott is this turnover machine is not true. I mean, last year was the only year where interceptions were an issue, and I mean, half of his interceptions last year were off of tip balls too, which the media doesn't do. And it was kind of ridiculous where Josh Allen has always been turnover prone, and was like, oh, this guy's an MVP candidate. And it's like, well, I mean, he is.
What happens is, he
is an MVP candidate, but I think that like when you look at Josh Allen, you have this quarterback who has this unbelievable arm, but he's a gunslinger. I mean, you have to take the good with the bad with him. Right. So,
because what happens is he gets 5 touchdowns, but he had 3 interceptions. So that's why, like you said, he puts up the numbers. Like he can have a 40, 50 touchdown season, but he'll have double-digit interceptions. And that's why, like you said, the perception is it's almost, to me, I hate to say it like this, it's almost like a Brett Favre type of thing, where remember how he would put up numbers and then all of a sudden, like he'll throw these crazy interceptions, and then it's like people fail to realize, because I think it'll be an interesting case study, like when he retires, like as far as how his interception to touchdown ratio would be. It's gonna be fascinating because, like,
Oh, yeah.
and because people will highlight and gloss and say, hey, yeah, he had five touchdowns in this game, but they'll be like, oh, well, he had 2 interceptions, but no one's gonna say that. Well, he had 3
Yeah.
because the 5 looks good.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even the last opening game of the season last year against the Rams, when he played so good, he threw a lot of dumb ball. He threw an interception. He had a fumble in that game. So I mean, it's just I just think the media, they just drive these narratives sometimes, and some of these narratives are not completely true.
Right.
But I mean, he's still a dog. So he's still a dog. He's somebody that still ain't gonna hedge against them for sure. But yeah. So my game to watch, and I know Colorado, obviously Colorado, Oregon. It is at a reasonable time this time, so I give them credit because I'm telling you, this he got me watching football games at 2:00 in the morning, and I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that. But But the game I really want to see, I definitely want to see. I'll go against the grain. Notre Dame versus Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Obviously, under the lights and touchdown Jesus. I think you look at just. We really don't know much about this Ohio State team. Obviously, you look at obviously got Cal McCord as a quarterback. We got the same usual suspects. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trevion Henderson out of Hopewell.
Yeah.
So you look at that, yeah. So so we'll see what that, and then you're looking at now. You look at Sam Hartman, a guy that pretty much was doing this thing at Wake Forest, and then now he comes here to Notre Dame, and people talk about Shedeur Sanders, you talk about Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr. But Sam Hartman has had a low-key good season thus far. I think he's a little over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's had a quiet year, especially in a year in the valley of all the quarterbacks that we've had discussed. And I think from an NFL perspective, I definitely like the Chargers and the Vikings game, even though they're both 0-2 teams. But these are still good, two good quarterbacks. I think they're going to be battling out in Minnesota. So I think that's going to be somewhat of a game to watch. But let's go to our picks, which is crazy. I don't know. So last week we were 4-3 again. So we got a combined record now of 8-6 on the season. So we finally got a guest picker. So we're gonna go around the horn. So we got number 4, Florida State, traveling to Clemson. JB, who you got in this matchup?
And this is a tough one. I didn't like the way Florida State played last week, and I understand it's a different week, but they seem like a team that might have problems on the road. I'm going Clemson in the upset here.
Okay. All right, we got Maui.
I got Florida State.
Okay. Yeah, give me the fight, Deion Sanders. Give me Florida State. I think it's over in Clemson in South Carolina. I think it's over in Clemson, South Carolina. It's only a 2-team race in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and so Florida State, North Carolina, only 2 in the ACC for me. So give me Florida State. All right, so we got number 19 Colorado traveling to Oregon, the number 10 Oregon. Who you got, JB?
Give me that expertise, JB. Let's go.
I mean, my expertise is definitely not college football.
Let's go,
man. This is a tough one. I can see it going any way. I'm gonna go Oregon here. I'm gonna go Oregon in a close game.
Yeah.
All right, we got JB. I mean, we got Maui.
I got Colorado, close game.
Okay. Give me the Fighting Field Knights. Give me Oregon. I think gonna take care of business. No hate on Deion. I love Deion. Deion loves me, and so.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Ralphie. I'm waiting for Ralphie to come out with with a gold chain, their mascot. I'm waiting for him to come out with a gold chain. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
One thing: if they win this game, Man, that USC game is gonna be over the top.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and thank the because I don't know if this is official or not. That game is at 12 o'clock, and I'm is it I'm kind of low key mad because I may not be able to watch the game
Mm.
on the 30th. So I like, oh, can we have this game at like middle of the day, like because I was like, I don't know. I'm hoping. I don't know. Yeah, because I may not be able to see the game on next Saturday. But I don't know. But yeah,
Man, they
yeah,
win
that's
that
gonna be
game, bro.
yeah.
You
Oh
talking
boy,
about
you
that
got
crazy?
everybody.
Woo! That's gonna be
Everybody
like,
bring it. They gonna bring. Yeah, it's gonna be all the stars. Everybody. Your boy Bronny James gonna be there probably. Little Bronny gonna
yeah,
be
and I
there.
wait. That's what I was
Yeah,
like, yeah. Did you see
all
Kawhi?
of them. Bring him out.
Did you see Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah.
Don't he
Hey
look like
man.
he? I mean, how can I say this? Allegedly, somewhat look like he on something. Like he looked a
I
little
mean,
off,
it
didn't
is
he?
weird. Like he look. It's like Kawhi is weird.
Malnourished, like
Kawhi look.
malnourished.
Kawhi don't look like he belong, but then he low key do belong. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird because like you seen everybody, all different types of people. You know, because you had like you had Chauncey and Cal Lowry in the suite. Then you got him on the sidelines. I'm like, okay, he belongs here, man. But yeah,
Kawhi looked like he detoxing
Chameleon.
or something, man. I was like, is he really extremely skinny to me? Very lean, like
yeah,
beyond
man.
lean. You know when your grandmother say, "Boy, you been eating."
Shoot, Jared West put him on that diet. Jared West said, "Look,
Jerry West like put
look,
him and Paul George on put him and Paul George on. He's like, I'm working this franchise's future. You motherfuckers better stay healthy this year.
yo."
No
When he said it on,
excuses.
when he said it on podcast, P was like, "I've never just seen two superstars being injured." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like
Oh man,
shots
y'all gonna make,
fired. Like Kawhi
Yeah,
make
kind of
me
straight on
emotional.
our podcast.
I was assuming for Jerry West to go into a story like he was like, in the '68 finals, uh,
Right.
he was like Elgin Baylor had a torn groin in the finals and he played all 7 games. He was like, I could give you guys experimental treatment. I'll give Kawhi a new ACL. So, I want you guys to play.
Right.
I was
Yeah,
like, is that Kawhi?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
man.
Kawhi man over
That's
there? And I
wild.
was like,
Yeah.
he don't be eating
All
all
right,
that
so
stuff.
we got number 9. Oh, we got number 6 Ohio State versus number 9 Notre Dame. Who you got? JB, we got.
I'm gonna go Notre Dame here, man, and I like how you put up Sam Hartman, man, because I think Sam Hartman is low key a good bet to win the Heisman, man. Don't If he keeps it up, man, I think he's gonna win the Heisman because Notre Dame, they have like just this fashion in the media. If you're having a good year and you're a Notre Dame player, you're gonna be in the Heisman conversation. I think that
Right.
Sam Hartman, if he keeps it up, and I think Notre Dame has a very good chance to make the playoff this year too, as well. So
Mm.
I'm gonna go Notre Dame. I don't like Notre Dame. They're a team that I openly root against, but like I think they'll win here.
We got Maui.
Ohio State, you know that Ohio State.
Okay.
I'm just, hey man, I ain't got nothing extra to say. I'm just rolling with the Duke.
It's all good.
For real.
It's all good. Yeah, give me the fight in Brady Quinn. Give me Notre Dame. Shout out to Brady Quinn, birthday twin. So so
Man,
all right. So
he was like a
huh?
child when he seen Dion. I was like, oh, that's Brady Quinn. He was so happy.
So now shifting focus to the national football to the NFL. We got the Giants versus the 49ers. Amazon Prime. Get your app ready at 6:55. It'll alert you, Maui, at 7 o'clock. Don't shy away from technology now. All right, who you got, JB, in this matchup?
49ers, man.
Yeah.
49ers in a laugher. 49ers in a laugher.
Yeah. Who you got, Maui?
Oh man, I got the 49ers. I just hope that the Giants keep the game kind of close.
Yeah. No Saquon. Nah, no chance. Give me the 49ers. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, get your app ready. It'll be there. I told you, tell Rooks be on there about 7:05. You be all right. Just get yourself ready, okay? All right, so we got the Steelers versus the Raiders, a Sunday night football affair. Probably all the Steelers fans gonna be in Las Vegas. Who you got, JB?
Ooh, this is a tough one, man. I think this is a pick 'em. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Raiders here, but I could see the Steelers winning this game. I think it's a very close game.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
I got the Steelers somewhat close, but not real close. I got it because when you got the fans saying fire Canada, I hope he come up with something. You got the fans like literally on prime time Monday Night Football saying fire Matt Canada, right? Shout out.
Yeah.
Hey, matter of fact, shout out to my aunt Deb, my uncle Rico, my uncle Anthony, and my cousin Delbert, my cousin Richie. They always at the game, man. You know what I mean? And shout out to them there, man. And I know they was like, I know my uncle Anthony upset because he a Browns fan. He had to wear my team suck hat. That was the deal. And I was just watching it, man. Like I really feel bad for Pickett, man. Like I just don't feel like he's, and he ain't to the place where he could probably really just call his plays or what he see. I think he still have, I don't know, man. Even Matt Canada, when they showed him, he looked stressed. He looked like he looked a little stressed.
Yeah, back to back primetime games. Give me the Steelers. I think they'll take care of business. So we got our double header Monday Night Football. First off, we got the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. Who you got, JB?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Eagles here. I think that they're the better team, but I think the Bucks can keep it close. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Eagles here. But Jalen Hurts hasn't looked good this year, though, man. He's. I've been looking at it. And he does not look like the same like he did last year, man. So I think this game. I think this game could definitely be a close one.
Yeah. We got Maui.
Got the Bucks. I think the Bucks kind of like the Commanders. I feel like they're very motivated through Baker Mayfield's energy and how he plays. You know, he plays really different than Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady's efficient and it's Tom Brady. But I feel like he puts his body on the line for a lot of stuff, and it gets the team kind of fired up. So I'm picking the Bucks. I think I don't think the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles as good as they were. Like you said, Hurts hasn't been playing well, and to me, you know how dominant the Eagles looked last year. Everybody's gone. Everybody's
Yeah, no, no, no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no, no.
yeah. I mean, at times.
Oh my God! I see.
I mean, what? I mean, right though. I mean, at times they were dominant.
But I'm just looking at them now and like I'm like, man, they should be, I don't know. I just feel like they should be scoring more, just like the Chiefs. I feel like the score, even though they're winning, I just feel like they should be more dominant. So I feel like if they play that way, a team like the Bucks can beat them, and it may be close, but a win and a win, like a Bucks will take a win like that to the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Give me the Eagles. I think they'll take care of business, and they better take care of business. You got a short week,
right?
Because Commanders coming up 495 for you the following week. So, hey, give me the Eagles.
Guys.
Hey, it is what it is. And to cap off our pick sevens, we got the Rams versus the Bengals. This is the Bengals Wall of Fame game. So Chad Ochocinco, Boomer, all the people they back in Cincy. So JB, who you got?
I'm gonna go Bengals, man. The Bengals can't go on 3, man. They go on 3, man. I'm gonna stick a fork in them. They gotta win this game. They gotta win this game, man. Like this like I think the last team that started off something like 0-3 and made the playoffs, I think the Chargers maybe did it like in the 90s sometimes. And I think the
Giants. That's the year they won the Super Bowl.
No, they were 0-2. They were 2. They were
that's right. And they
they
beat us. Yeah, that's right. Because they was about to be 0-3. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You went to that game, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plaxico Burress broke my heart. Well, yeah, I'm here. 16 years later? But I'm here.
That's why I shot us all.
Pretty much. Yeah, who you got in this matchup, Maui?
Man, I got the Rams by 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give me.
27-24.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, give me the Bengals because they my Super Bowl pick. Because like you said, I got to ride with this.
Yeah,
I got to ride with it because I'm like,
I gave
no,
I gave up for the Panthers. I'm sorry. I
I
was
can't. It's
wrong.
too early. It's too early to give up. It ain't even October yet.
Right.
They need a win
Whatever.
desperately, and please give us a win, please. We're begging you.
I
So,
was I think I was sleepy that day.
but yeah. Shout out to our guy Ti. Hey, so Texas was in 2018. He didn't start
Oh, okay.
23 and finished 75. Yeah, so shout out to our guy Ti. You know,
Right.
Okay.
so yeah, that is interesting. Yeah,
Just
definitely.
hit me.
So
I picked the Giants to be in the damn Super Bowl.
you sure did. You sure
Hey man,
did. I
you're supposed to
mean,
be my friend.
I'm just saying. Hey, it's not too late. I mean,
Right.
hey,
Come
who
on,
knows?
Giants.
Dan,
Come
Dan
on.
Jones. Dan Jones might be the next. He'll be the next. Eli Manning. I would have made a case for Kadarius Tony, but he could have been the next Mario Manningham or David Tyree, but he's wilding out. So, so
Yeah.
maybe Sterling Shepard or Jalen Hyatt might be your guy. Hey, it's not too late. I mean, it's just September. He here, you know.
Ain't looking good.
I mean, it's the night before the 21st night of September. It's all good. It's still intact. You still make the playoffs. Come on now.
I got you.
That's what friends are for, you know.
Mm.
You know. But hey, so we'll put a bow on this week's Couch Coach Live. So go around the horn. We'll do game balls first. So JB, who gets this week game ball for you?
Oh, game ball this week. Oh, um, I'm gonna give. I'm gonna give my game ball to I'm gonna give it to the I'm gonna give it to the Titans, man. The Titans were in a tough spot on Sunday, and they came back and they won the game. Without even they didn't even force a turnover. So I have to give credit where credit's due. The Titans actually are a funky team, man. They should be 2-0. They should have beat the Saints. If Tannehill hadn't thrown those 3 interceptions, they would have beat the Saints opening game. So
Yeah. All right. What you got, Maui?
Man, my game ball goes to TJ Watt. TJ Watt on Monday night has became the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise sack leader and got his first touchdown in professional history. So shout out to TJ Watt doing this thing. Out of 342 snaps, he has 81.5 sacks.
Nice,
Congratulations.
nice. For sure.
I love that high step, TJ. Let them know.
Yeah. So my game ball goes into the preps. So I definitely got to give a huge shout out to Coach Holmes, my childhood neighbor. The current head coach of the Henrico Warriors got his first win on Friday versus JR. Talk about a final score of 57-0. Definitely huge shout out to Coach Holmes. He's doing his thing out there on Azalea Avenue. Definitely proud of my childhood neighbor. I got 2 words for you, neighbor. Beat Veranda. So, fellas, let's go around the horn. Final thoughts, social media. What you got going on?
yeah. All right,
JB,
yeah.
what you got?
So my social media is Instagram, Jamie B Foodie. You can find me on Facebook under Jamie Bailey. And shout out to my Baltimore Orioles, man. The rebuild is over.
Yeah.
We made the playoffs. I'm hyped.
That's what's up. Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna try to keep a watch on them just because that's your team, man, and then we can rap about it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78 Instagram. But man, I can't be positive. I'm extremely unhappy that they canceled the winning time. Like I really, really, really love this show. And you know what's funny, man? I've been like trying to find things to post because critics, you got to show that the critics even loved. And then we looked up the viewership. It was horrible, man. The viewership was horrible. And then it's like, well, they can't promote it because of the strike. And I'm
Yeah.
very, very, very hurt, man. And then you know what I thought about it was, listening to a lot of the players that are analysis, that is analysis now, and how they talk about that time and how Larry Bird wasn't great, he wouldn't be able to play, and all these different things. And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yes, he could have. You know what I mean? Like Larry Bird was a dog, man. Like when I watched that, then you start telling his story, it was like what 6'10", 6'10". Well, anyway,
6'10", 6'6",
regardless,
yeah.
regardless of all of that, like this show was great, man. It was like everything about it was great, and it really should have went longer to the point that when they was able to play the Bulls, and I feel like we didn't get it all. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'm just real disappointed about that. I hope that I really wish like a Netflix or something like that be able to pick it up because I don't see anybody really saying anything negative like from a viewership wise. Some people didn't know it was on. Some people was like, what? That was into it. Like, man, I needed more. So I'm very disappointed about that. Thank God I'd be able to have this platform to say it. You know what
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so pretty much follow the show. Pretty much anyway you get your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. Check out the website couchcoachlive.com. Not new episode, but new article posted about the recap of University of Richmond's first win last week over Delaware State. Check that out. Also, tomorrow night, Commanders in the chat. Pretty much anywhere social media Commanders ITC. We go live Wednesday tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We get you primed and ready for the Washington Commanders matchup versus the Buffalo Bills. And we do that every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, man. So this has been this week's Couch Coach Live. And man, we'll catch you guys next week. And we're out.